inspiration for this character comes from a game that I liked to play back in 2008 called MLB Power Bros. This is a baseball game that was focused on very realistic animations, but with a very specific and very simple character design. If you ever played a game called Rayman, this game is very much like this one. The connection between the hands, the feet, and the legs didn't exist. So this created a very specific and very nice flow when creating animations. The only difference with the character is that connection, I think it would be cool if it exists, since this is going to be a shooter game, so that's the only difference that I created with this character. So, as you can see here, once we came up with the basic structure for the mesh, we went ahead and worked on the UV mapping. What is UV mapping? UV mapping is basically a 3D modeling process when you project a 2D image to a 3D model surface for texture mapping. To sum up, and to make it a little easier, it's the process that allows us to put textures and to paint our character. Next up, we needed to rig our character. This process can be a bit overwhelming at first, since there are a lot of things that you need to take into account, like bone rotations, pole targets, and so on and so on. Also, one of the things that it's very stressful can be weight painting. But once you get the hang of it, it makes it so much more sense, and you're able to think about rigging just about any model you can think of. The most important part that I would say about rigging is weight. How you configure the weight painting is going to dictate how your character will behave when moving certain bones to certain positions and rotations. So weight painting is a very crucial part of your character rigging. Once we have that set up, we can work on IK controls. What is IK? Inverse kinematics. Basically allows us that when we move certain bones, then we can move not only that bone, but we move all of the chain together. So think about it as, for example, if we have a robot and the character's or the robot's arm has 3 joints, if we move the last joints, the other 2 joints are going to move along with it. At last, I wanted our character face to be 2D. I think this will add a very cartoony look on the face and is going to be a very specific feature of the character. I'm thinking that in the future, people can maybe upload their own 2D art and basically make their face whatever they want. So this gives it a very specific and cool, unique feature to the character, since you're not going to be bound to just one face, but you can basically make your face to be whatever 2D art you decide to be. Once we have the character rigged, once we have the weight paint configured and the IK control set up, I'm going to be using Mixamo to basically do the animations at first. Mixamo is a very cool tool that allows us to download or apply preset animations to our already rigged character. The only difference is that we no longer worry about the rig, but if we want to modify those animations, then we do worry about the rig. So at first, what I'm going to do is just upload the character's mesh as it is. After this, I'm going to use Mixamo to apply these animations. Then we can basically unfold the animations in Unity, and we can modify the animations as we wish. So now that we have our character done, I wanted to show you how we created models for our hairs. What I'm thinking is that we have a customization screen where you can pick your own hair color and your own hair model or type. Let me show you how we created in Blender, along with my partner, a 3D modeler that you will get to know in the future. Let me show you how we created this. This is the first hair type that I'm showing here on the screen. I wanted to go for a realistic look, but it still has that cartoony type. As you can see, the spikes on the hair and the sideburns, it gives it a mix between reality and cartoon. So this is very cool. The next hair model that we worked on is this one that I'm going to show you. Check it out. This is more like your more conservative style. It's got a little bangs here. It doesn't stand out as much as the other one, but I think it's looking pretty cool. So we have 2 models here of hairs, and the next thing that I want to do is put them inside Unity, and I will work on a customization screen where you can toggle between these 2 models, and we're going to be able to change color for these 2 hairs, so I can show you that progress on the customization screen. So let's go ahead and do that. See you guys. All right, so I'm here in Visual Studio and I created a customization manager script. Here is where we will handle our skin and hair materials, so we can grab the renderer for that specific part and change it as we wish. What I did here is, this is kind of a specific process that you have to do while switching materials. First, we need to get the renderer component from the game object itself. So in this case, the current hair or the hair anchor has the renderer component. So we go ahead and grab it. Once we have the renderer, we have to enable it. Then we have to access the shared material, which is the material that is being applied to our renderer. And by an index, we go into the hair materials that we have assigned. This is basically an array of materials, and we grab that material by the index and we assign it to that shared material. So that's basically how you set the hair material. Now we go into Unity. I created a very simple canvas for this toggling or this customization screen. It has a panel, as you can see here. I created two buttons, one for decreasing the index, one for increasing the index, so you can toggle between the different hair models. So this is going to be change hairstyle, as you can see in the screen. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a skin material. So I'm going to have to access the root component where the skin materials live. This is going to be the skin GFX, GFX being for graphics. And same process. I grab the renderer from that game object, I enable it, then I have to access the character materials, and by index or by skin material index, I set that first position, which has the skin, to the corresponding skin material index in that list. The last thing that you have to do, and this is very specific to how Unity works, you have to reassign that array of character materials into the renderer materials if what you're working is with a list or an array. And the last thing that I'm doing is I am basically just duplicating our controls for the hair color. I am checking that the hair models are correct and nothing is wrong with any of the layers or there's no scene fighting or anything like that. So once we have the canvas complete, I go ahead and test this out. And as you can see here, this is working pretty cool. Once you change the hairstyle, you can toggle between them, change hair color on the one you're selected, and we can also change the skin of the character using the last option. So this is pretty cool. It's a very nice progress. We'll go ahead and polish this in the future, but for now, I think this works.